All right, welcome to the fourth episode of After the Whistle, a Front Porch Sports podcast. On this episode, me and our esteemed guest are going to break down the AFC and NFC title games that just happened on Sunday, and a look ahead to a little bit of Super Bowl action. I'm not going to give my pick out yet, but he's going to give us some prop bets to look at. I'm going to throw some prop bets at you as well. But before any of that, I would like to welcome you all to the new and improved studio. I'm actually recording this after the interview, so as you'll see, I had a little bit of trouble with the lighting. I am extremely white, so my face went all white for a second because of the light. I do think we have that fixed. It shouldn't be an issue in the future. But I just kind of I'm not going to actually show you guys, but I'm just going to point to things and show you guys what everything is. So we're going to start with that red picture right there. That is a Ted Williams Moxie poster. For those of you that don't know, Moxie is a soda. It's New England based, I would say. It's fantastic. It's my favorite soda. If you ever have the chance to try it, I highly recommend it. Ted Williams liked to make his Moxie. Fun fact about Moxie, that was one of their claims was that it was Viagra before Viagra. So you men out there, drink some Moxie. There we go. That picture is autographed by Ted Williams. I know a lot of you might not know who Ted Williams is. He's a left fielder that used to play for the Red Sox. He fought in World War II. No, that's not right. Maybe it is. He fought in Vietnam for sure, flying planes, or maybe it was Korea. I don't know. He fought in two different wars in the Air Force. He was a great pilot. He is also he is the only baseball player to hit above 400. He hit 406 in a season, batting average wise. So this is the greatest hitter who's ever lived. Just right there, Notre Dame helmet signed by Rudy. I'm assuming all of you have seen that. It's not just a great sports movie. It is a great movie in general. So pretty cool that we got that. Obviously, we have just a Notre Dame flag, which is pretty cool. If you can't tell, I am a big Notre Dame fan. Then we have a sign pointing to the Green Monster, which actually is in that direction, but that is okay. And then just below that, we have 4 baseballs, one signed by Curt Schilling, who is actually oddly relevant today as he did not get into the Hall of Fame. He missed it by 16 votes. And he's supposed to be on the ballot for next time around. It's his last time. But he told them that they can kiss his ass and that he doesn't want to be on the ballot. So congratulations to him. Speaking of Hall of Famers, one of those balls is signed by Nate Colbert. A lot of you might not know who that is. If you don't, give him a Google. He is in the Hall of Fame. He played for the San Diego Padres for a number of years. Great player. We also have a ball signed by Marty Barrett. Again, a lot of you might not know who that is. He was the best player on the 86 Red Sox that lost to the Mets in the World Series. That was when the ball went under Bill Buckner's glove in between his legs. Marty was the ALCS MVP that year, so pretty cool. And then also there is a signed Tyler Anderson ball. He is currently in the MLB. He's a pitcher for the Colorado Rockies. So some pretty cool stuff. Just below those, we have a Conor McGregor picture that I got at the weigh-in for the McGregor-Mayweather fight. Me and a couple buddies went to that. It was a super good time. Loved it. Just next to that, we have a Back the Pack flag. Go Pack, University of Nevada, Reno, baby. Best school there is. Just above my shoulder, I have a autographed Brian Scalabrine picture. If you don't know who that is, you're living under a rock. Arguably the greatest basketball player to ever play. But my nickname, I don't want to say everyone, most of my friends called me all throughout high school, still call me, is Scal. That was his nickname. I have a Scal jersey. You'll probably see me wearing it on an episode in the near future. Wrong. I can't get this right. Fenway Park sign. And then obviously the centerpiece an autographed Tom Brady jersey, which is going to lead me directly into what I want to talk about before we get into the interview. My guest is not a huge Tom Brady fan, so I wouldn't get away with gloating like I'm about to. So Tom Brady has been in the NFL 21 seasons. If you take out his first year where he was a fourth string quarterback the entire season, and the 2008 season when he tore his ACL in the first quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs, that's 19 years. Tom Brady, not this upcoming Sunday, the following Sunday, is going to be playing in his 10th Super Bowl. 10 Super Bowls in 19 real seasons of playing is just the most absurd thing we've ever seen. And sure, he didn't throw for a bunch of yards and he had 3 picks in this last game, but he did what Tom Brady will stereotypically do, and that's he makes the plays when it matters. 3rd and 11, picks it up. 3rd and 9, picks it up. He is just on an absolute different planet historically than any other quarterback we've ever seen. And for so many years, all of these Patriot fans, it's the system. Tom Brady is the system. That's what this proved more than anything. Bruce Arians I don't want to say he wasn't a great coach, but he wasn't a great coach. He was a good coach at best. This Bucs team was 7-9 last year with a quarterback that threw 30 touchdowns. He also threw 30 interceptions, but regardless, and Tom Brady has his team in the Super Bowl in his first season with them. Tom Brady ranks 3rd all-time in NFC wins. I guess it's 4th, but Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers are tied, and then Brett Favre is ahead of them too. Yeah. So, he's been in the NFC 1 year. He is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all-time postseason passing leader. Tampa was founded in the 70s. This is his first season with them. He has as many NFC championships as Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. He has more Super Bowl appearances than the quarterbacks that he was generationally compared to, being Peyton Manning, who has 4, Big Ben, who has 3, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees. They have 9 Super Bowl appearances between the 4 of them. Tom Brady has 10 alone. So this was my little Tom Brady gloat session, because I get it. I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. I'm rooting for them in the Super Bowl, though, because that man, he's the greatest there ever has been, the greatest there ever will be. And this season was just such a perfect show of that, because he went to a team that hasn't had much postseason success historically ever, outside of the Super Bowl they won many years ago when Gruden was the head coach. He went there and just completely changed the culture, brought this franchise back to relevancy, and he could win his 7th Super Bowl in 2 weeks. 7. It's ridiculous what this man has done. So that is that. I hope you all like the new setup. And without further ado, here is the interview. All right. I would like to welcome on the 4th guest in Front Porch Sports history, Mr. Collins, street name CJ. How are we doing today, Siege?
Hey, thanks for having me, Murray. I'm a big fan of the show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So all we're going to do today, obviously, football is in full swing right now. We got the Super Bowl coming up. We're just going to break down these last 2 games, and then CJ's a big gambling man like myself, so we'll talk about some bets we're looking at for the Super Bowl. We'll start with the NFC, as that was the first game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31, Green Bay 26. Tom Brady, the greatest to ever do it, had 280 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Playoff Lenny Fournette has really come out of nowhere. He had 12 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown. And then on the losing side, that bum Aaron Rodgers had 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a huge interception there at the end of the first half. Aaron Jones had a rather shitty game, 6 carries for only 27 yards. And Devontae Adams did not have a good game by his standards in any way. 9 receptions for 67 yards and a touchdown. I know you're not a huge Tom Brady fan, not even a little bit of a Tom Brady fan.
Not at all.
So I would love to hear what your takeaways from this game were right off the bat, because I'm sure Tom Brady's going to get no credit.
No, and he doesn't deserve any credit. He tried everything he could to blow that game at the end of there. 3 picks in the second half alone, and none of them were even.
No. There was at least one that wasn't his fault.
I'd like
right
to hear
off of Evans'
because
hands.
That was overthrown even for Mike Evans, and Mike Evans is a big guy.
Mike Evans is a big guy.
But what you didn't mention with Aaron Jones' stats is 2 fumbles and 1 lost right at the beginning of the first half.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was crucial, pretty much for the final score.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, that just reminded me like why he got hurt on that play, didn't he?
Right. Yeah. So 6 carries, but even before then, they weren't using him as much as they have in the past. It was really a lot of Jamal Williams too, which surprised me a little bit. I feel like, are you saving Aaron Jones for later? I didn't understand.
Right.
That.
I thought the same thing. And then they were mixing in that the rookie from Boston College, AJ Dillon. Is that his name?
Yeah, but
so he's not bad, but I just don't like Aaron Jones is a good running back. I'm surprised at just the lack of attempts more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. AJ Dillon looked good, and had they gone on to the Super Bowl and Aaron Jones couldn't play, I feel like AJ Dillon might get the bulk of the carries. But obviously not happening. But yeah, Tom Brady, he didn't look good, but I think Aaron Rodgers just looked a little bit worse. And I know his stat line was actually pretty good aside from that 1 interception, which should have been a holding call.
Debatable, but yeah, that was my thing about the Brady picks versus the Rodgers. Like Brady obviously threw 3, but they were all kind of deep passes. And if I'm not incorrect, I think they were all on 3rd down. So it was essentially just a shitty punt in my mind, where Rodgers, his was like, I was at halftime, I was texting some guys. I'm like, that's the game right there. I felt, I mean, obviously it didn't end up, it got much closer, but you got to assume that the way Rodgers is playing, they go down and score on that drive potentially. And instead they don't score. And then Brady hits Scotty Miller, which I don't know how that defense lets that happen. Like, how do you let him get behind you like that?
Kevin King, man, and Packers fans hate Kevin King now.
He got burned. He was who the PI call was on at the end. It's Evans got his touchdown on him. He had a rough day. So what the fuck was Matt LaFleur thinking with that field goal there?
Yeah, so when you listen to Aaron Rodgers talk after he says that he thought he had 4 downs to work with, and I don't really know how much that really factors in your decision making. It seems like if you thought you were going to have another chance at the end zone, like he should have run and at least picked up like 4 or 5 yards.
Right, because even if he doesn't get in there, he makes it a 4th and goal from the 4 instead of 4th and goal from the 8th. Or the 8, excuse me. That makes it like a much easier decision. So I think we can critique Aaron Rodgers all we want. Like, oh, should he have ran? Shouldn't he have? But I don't understand the thinking by Matt there.
No, I don't either. And I keep hearing everybody talk about how, oh, well, the analytics might have told him to do this or that. And everybody's critical of him. But yeah, you have to go for it. I mean, it was just over 2 minutes left. They did have all 3 timeouts. So they could have given up 1 first down and stopped them. But I don't know. Even the way Leonard Fournette was running the ball well, and they really weren't stopping the Bucs much except for those 3 bad interceptions, which you knew Brady wasn't going to air it out 40 yards and throw another pick like that.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the thought process there was for.
And then just more than anything, so the situation goes from they're down 8 at that point. So you go from down 8 to down 5. You still need a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, I guess in one scenario, you need a touchdown in the 2-point conversion to force overtime. But if you get the touchdown and miss the 2, you still have the 2-minute warning and all 3 timeouts, presumably. Maybe the 2-minute warning's gone by, but you still have all 3 timeouts. So I really didn't get it there. And then if you don't get it on 4th and goal, you're in basically the same scenario, except Tampa's pinned back at like the 7-yard line or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah. The only difference, because you're right, they would have had to get a touchdown either at that point or a little bit later after they make a stop. The only difference is the 2-point conversion, which I guess makes you twice as unlikely to get, like, your odds are cut in half because it's only 50-50 after you score the touchdown.
Absolutely.
But
And then definitely it seemed like they were like Rodgers talks about how it wasn't his decision. And like, did Rodgers think he had 4 downs to work with? Did he not? Like, I feel like at that point in the game, like that's something that's got to be known between your presumably MVP this year quarterback and Matt LaFleur.
right.
So
Yeah, I know. Maybe it seemed like Aaron Rodgers was just super frustrated about the whole game, and you didn't really get that frustration from him all season long because they were winning the whole season. They were
absolutely
13-3, so obviously that stuff doesn't really come up. But after you lose the biggest game of the year, and it
at
keeps
home,
happening year after
especially
year at home, yeah,
1-4
it
in
keeps happening
NFC
year
title
after year.
games now. I mean, that's not a good record.
No, yeah, and a lot of these games he probably should have won today, or not today, but on Sunday he should have won this game. The Packers outperformed the Bucks all year, except for obviously the game they played against each other. But the Packers had much higher expectations going into that championship game.
Absolutely. I mean, they were favored. They had been the hottest team all year, at least in the NFC wise. So obviously, Rodgers showing all that frustration. What do he even brought it up in the post game interview. He's like, there's a lot of guys whose futures in question with this team, including mine. I'm under the assumption that there's just no way Green Bay lets this guy leave. I mean, you got it. Like, I get that he like you can argue he hasn't like been a winner or anything like that, you know, but you can't like what do you do if you're gonna try what's the Love guy from Utah State?
Yeah,
That's who they
Jordan
took in the
Love.
first round. So I don't think you're ready to move on from Rodgers left yet when he's got a couple years remaining still of high level
No, yeah,
football.
he definitely has. I would think at least 4 more years. This is probably the best year of his career. So there's definitely not any signs of him slowing down.
Right.
Um, And if you're Aaron Rodgers and like even if you demand a trade, it's not like Deshaun Watson where he has a no trade clause. So let's say the Texans say, "Oh well, we're going to go ahead and trade you to I don't know
The
a horrible
Jets.
team." Yeah, well he wants to
He
go to
wants
the
to go to
Jets.
the Jets. I get what you're
um,
saying though. Some bad team.
a bad team, Deshaun Watson can say, "Well, no, I'm not willing to be traded." With Aaron Rodgers, the Packers are not likely to want to trade him to let's say the Niners
Right.
because
An
they know
NFC
the
team.
Niners
Yep.
are probably going to be one of the best teams and a Super Bowl favorite, and then they'll have to beat them in the NFC Championship or in the playoffs. So they're not going to want to give him to a powerhouse team. They'll likely want to trade Aaron Rodgers to like a Jacksonville or somewhere like that.
Oakland, or I guess Vegas now.
Vegas, yeah. Um, so if he were to get traded and if that's something that he wanted to pursue, it would most likely be a much worse situation than he's already in. But that's all hypothetical. I don't see the Packers trading him at all. They couldn't. Aaron Rodgers is pretty much the whole team, and even if you were to get like 2 or 3 first round draft picks, I don't think it'll make up for the lost talent in Aaron Rodgers.
I 100% agree. I mean, he's a generational quarterback. And I get that he's getting up there. He's like 38 or 39, but like you said, this was one of his best seasons ever. So there's really no show of decline or anything like that. I would be absolutely shocked if they trade him. Switching gears, speaking of more generational talent, we had 2 fantastic young quarterbacks going at it in the AFC. Kansas City 38, Buffalo 24. Mahomes, I mean, he's just a monster. 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions for 172 yards. Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, he didn't have a bad game where I kind of thought he did. I guess maybe some garbage time yards there, but 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And Stephon Diggs had 6 receptions and 77 yards. I mean, just from watching the game, it just kind of looked Kansas City's just too good is what I took away from it.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas City, not only are they the better team but they're definitely the better team. They have more offensive weapons, probably better defense, and even the Bills' strongest like their biggest strength is quarterback, and the Chiefs have a better quarterback. Like the Chiefs are better in every way, I think.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have pretty much everybody was talking about in the NFC Championship, Tom Brady, like, oh, he's been there before. Like, you have to watch out, never count out Tom Brady. At this point, Patrick Mahomes has been there before, too. He has that playoff experience that Josh Allen
AFC
has never had. Yeah, absolutely. And probably a lot more to come.
Absolutely. Well, and that's, we'll get to it a little later, but that's why the Super Bowl I think is so big, because I think Mahomes is the only guy that can catch Brady.
Yeah.
But I think if Brady wins this one and hits 7, I don't know if Mahomes will, but I think if Mahomes gets this one, it's 2-6. He's 25 years old. He'll probably catch him.
Absolutely. And on top of that, like if at the end of their careers, let's say Mahomes even did get 7, but he lost this Super Bowl to Tom Brady, then you still go back and you say, well, who's better? Well, Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes both times that he played him in the playoffs, once in the AFC Championship, once in the Super Bowl. So I definitely think that this game could come down to a big argument point.
Right, in the future GOAT conversation. And then, yeah,
but I just a long way to go from Mahomes too.
Absolutely, 25 years old. The guy's got ages in front of him. For me, I bet Buffalo this game. Obviously, that was a loser. I just thought he was more banged up than he was. Like the guy looked spry as like.
Oh, I know.
If he was actually like, I'm not going to say he was faking it. Obviously, he wasn't faking the injury, but he was like very concussed. Like that was clear as day. And you do not recover from a concussion in a week and then go play at that high of a level like he did. So I don't know what type of magic Andy Reid and that medical team has over there. And his toe, he was hobbling a little bit, but the mobility did not, he was still running for a couple first downs like he does. And I mean, that was, that's why I feel like I lost. I would have bet Kansas City if I thought this guy was 100%, but I just didn't see any way.
Well, I would have bet Kansas City, and had you had me on the show before, I definitely would have talked some smack on Joseph's pick. You should have known when he said that he only got 2 bets right all year, and he's going
right? Oh, shit.
But yeah, I had the Chiefs the whole way, but I didn't expect Patrick Mahomes to look 100% healthy. You never would have guessed that he was hurt the week before. And not only was he concussed the week before, they said he had turf toe.
Yeah, he had like some special insole in his shoe, but you could have never told.
No, he was moving around the pocket fine. He made every single throw. I mean, I didn't see one bad throw from Patrick Mahomes the whole game.
Nothing.
And then yeah, you're right. He was running. They had some design quarterback runs I was watching, and there was one he easily could have run out of bounds, but he like cut it back inside just to pick up a couple more yards. Like somebody who's hurt doesn't do that.
No, absolutely. So I feel like I got a little bamboozled on that one, but it's my fault. I had said all year, Kansas City, I think, is by far the best team. But then if you go and look at Buffalo, you got to look at this as a good year, in that division. I want to say it was pretty wide open, obviously with Brady leaving New England, and they obviously are the best team in that division. And I don't want to say obviously the second best team in the AFC going forward, but I think they are. They're definitely better than Baltimore, I feel like.
Yeah, we'll see a lot more next year. See if they're just like a one and done, or see if Josh Allen could continue to be this MVP candidate. And I mean, it seemed like a lot of quarterbacks had really great years this year, and had that not been the case, Josh Allen definitely had a season that was capable of winning an MVP. Like if he does the same season next year, there's a good chance he does win MVP.
Absolutely. I would have him third in my MVP behind Rodgers and Mahomes this year. So the guy was a stud. That team, like winning playoff games for the first time in like 25 years or something like that. It's only going to go up from there. They're pretty young. Diggs he didn't have a great game, but he's a phenomenal receiver.
Yeah.
So now we have the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to say who I bet on yet. I'm going to wait for a couple more episodes.
Yeah, save that.
But let me hear some of the prop bets you got, because I know you got that packet. You're going through it.
I know. I love going through that William Hill packet. I didn't get it. I'm not in Reno right now, but I looked up some of the bets that they're offering right now.
Yep.
So personally, I like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I would take them money line. I'd take them -3 or whatever it's at down.
I'm
to
seeing
now.
3.5 right now, but it's even at 3.5. So I think it's going to go down to 3.
Okay. Yeah. So I like the Chiefs -3 or -3.5. I honestly think they're going to win by a lot. I would take the Chiefs pretty much down to -6.
Oh, okay. So you like them a lot.
I really think the Chiefs are going to come out and prove themselves. But rather than betting money line at -170, one of the prop bets that I like is for Patrick Mahomes to win MVP.
Yep.
Or yes, Super Bowl MVP, that is, at -120, because I can't really see a scenario where the Chiefs win the game without and Patrick Mahomes like not playing well.
I would agree. I mean, it's just, if he puts up a similar stat line, you got to assume they give it to him. But I mean, Tyreek Hill having 172 yards, if he puts up similar numbers in the Super Bowl, that'll be interesting. I agree. Mahomes is, I think he's definitely got to be the favorite, and for good reasoning.
Right. Yeah. From the AFC Championship game, I still think that stat line Mahomes put up would win the MVP. But for example, if you go back to last time or earlier this year when the Chiefs and the Bucks played, where Tyreek Hill had 3 touchdowns and 280,
like yeah,
crazy numbers. Like obviously that would beat out Mahomes. I can't see the Bucks just letting Tyreek Hill run around the whole day, and I think they might focus in on him a little bit more. But I like Mahomes to win Super Bowl MVP. I like that bet a little bit more than I like the Chiefs money line.
That's a good one. One prop I have is the Gatorade color. Both teams like the color red, and that is +800. And really? Then I have in front of me the colors of the Gatorade in the past. Last year, Kansas City was orange. You got to assume that they're going to use orange again this year. That's got the good vibes for them.
Okay.
That is +500. And then historically, looking at the Patriots in their Super Bowls, they used blue predominantly. So you got to think maybe Brady's requesting that type of thing. So orange is +500 and blue is +600. So I like all three of those colors.
I don't know about blue though, because blue kind of goes with the Patriots colors and not quite with the Bucks, but yeah, those seem like good odds.
One interesting note, because I'm definitely not going to bet it. When Tampa won Super Bowl 37, it was purple.
Okay.
Not
what are the odds on purple?
I am going to take orange and red at 500 and 800.
All right. Well, I haven't done the research on Gatorade colors. But so some of the long shots that I like, I guess, for prop bets, I think one of the only ways that I could see the Bucks winning the Super Bowl, I think either Brady has to have an amazing game, and his odds to be Super Bowl MVP right now are +190, which I don't love those odds.
No, it's not.
I would go.
Yeah.
So either that would have to happen, or the defense has to dominate and shut down Patrick Mahomes, which could happen with now Eric Fisher out and Mitchell Schwartz has been out since
both tackles are out.
Both starting tackles. So I think if the Bucks are going to win this game, their defensive line kind of has to dominate. That sounds good.
All righty. Apologies for that. Yeah. So you were talking about how Tampa's D line was going to need to play real well to stop Mahomes with those two starting tackles out. And I totally agree. I think they need to get pressure on Mahomes without actually blitzing. Like the D line is going to need to do a good job of that.
Right. So for that reason, I like at +4,000, I like Shaquille Barrett to win Super Bowl MVP. And then at +10,000, Jason Pierre-Paul. So you bet $10 to win 1,000. If either of them have a game like they did in the NFC Championship game, I think that we could, with a little bit less offensive production, I think that we could see one of them actually get the Super Bowl MVP.
I love JPP with that value there. $10 to win 1,000. Yeah. That is fantastic.
And like, say he had 2 sacks. Say he gets 3 sacks and like a forced fumble or something,
right? Or a pick or something like that.
Right. I think that's all it would take to win. That's a big win.
If Brady stays under 300 yards, I could definitely see that.
Absolutely.
And then any thoughts on the over under? I'm seeing it at 57 right now.
I would probably take the over on that. I could see the final score being something like 30-34 for Kansas City, maybe like 28 or 27. Yeah.
Is that your score prediction?
Yeah, we'll go with that for my score prediction. But
all right.
So yeah, I think that the Chiefs will win by a decent margin. And so I would probably take the over. I would have taken the over on both the AFC and NFC championship game as well. I was thinking probably for NFC championship game would have been like 38-31 Packers.
Yeah.
So I would have been wrong about the team, but
I teased the under in that one, and I had 57.5. So I won that one by half a point. And then I had under like 49 maybe in the AFC one. So that one hit. But I had one of those
over in that game.
Yeah.
Over, okay.
But I had one of those tees with Buffalo plus 10. So that part didn't hit, but it's whatever. Overall, not too shabby. So you got Kansas City winning. You like Mahomes at MVP. You got some value on JPP. And what was the other guy's name? Shaquille
Barrett.
Shaquille Barrett. Both of them for MVP values.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one that I have, I like Ronald Jones for first touchdown in that game.
What's he out there?
Plus 1,800. And so you get a lot less value with Leonard Fournette because of how well he's been doing. And I think that they're going to ride Ronald Jones a little bit more in this game. They haven't as much because he had a quad injury in the wild card round. Off. And then he came back in the New Orleans game, had like a 50-yard run, but aggravated it again.
Yeah.
And so hasn't really had the same workload. But with 2 weeks off now, I think you could see him rested and kind of take the lead role with Leonard Fournette coming in for more of a third down back.
So then if you're Tampa Bay right here, because I think we kind of agree, like if both teams kind of play how they have, Kansas City's going to win. Right. So what do you think Tampa needs to do to win this game?
I think for sure they're going to have to take advantage of the offensive tackles being out, and they're going to have their edge rushers getting in there. They're definitely going to have to make some adjustments from when they played against Kansas City last time.
Obviously, yeah.
They have to try to slow Tyreek Hill down somehow, and even Travis Kelce didn't have a bad game in that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you're supposed to slow down that Kansas City
both of those
offense.
Guys, right?
They're gonna have to force some turnovers, and we haven't really seen that happen to Kansas City all that much.
No.
So they'll have to force turnovers, and then Tom Brady can't be throwing picks like he did in the NFC Championship. I think even if he throws one pick, it's going to be too much for them to overcome. So he's got to take real good care of the football.
I agree. I think he could throw one. I don't think he can throw more than one. And I think defensively, they got to have a similar game plan to what they had against Green Bay. I think Mahomes and Rodgers are pretty like comparable quarterbacks as far as like playing style and stuff of that. And if they can, obviously very different receivers, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, but if they can slow down Hill like they did Adams, I mean, when was the last 67 yards? Like that's, if they can not, I think that's a little too tall of an expectation to keep.
Yeah, but that'd be a huge success. Even if they held both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to under 100 yards, or
that's what I was going to say. You gotta try to hold those guys under 100. And
yeah, absolutely, that'd be a huge success, and that's pretty much the recipe they need.
Right? Yeah, Brady needs to protect the ball. Nothing against Bruce Arians. I just think Andy Reid coming off of 2 weeks off, I think is going to be a huge mismatch as well.
Right.
So
yeah,
I
you
think
always hear about Andy Reid with that extra week to prepare, how lethal he is. I forget his exact record, but
absolutely insane.
Impressive.
All righty, Siege. I appreciate it. Thank you much.
All right, thanks for having me, Mur.
Absolutely. We'll have you back on soon. You enjoy the game. Have a good one.
All right, thanks. Can't wait.
Bye. All right. Big thank you to CJ for that. Love talking gambling stuff with him. I've known him for years. So super exciting. I like a lot of those prop bets. And, while he is not a huge Tom Brady fan, that is neither here nor there. I think I'm going to fix any technical difficulties that we had. I just wanted to thank you guys again. All 3 videos I've posted are over 100 views, over 50 subscribers. I am thinking that this one is going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if I can figure out how to do that. I'm going to try to get another episode out maybe before Saturday. We got a big college basketball Saturday coming up ahead, so watch out for that one. Football season's almost over. We only got one more game, so slowly going to start transitioning into other sports. College basketball will be the main focus until March Madness is over. But yeah, I just thank you guys. The support has been pretty unreal. This is it's not like we're big time or anything like that, but it feels good to see that there's success, and it seems like people are enjoying it and whatnot. I think the new setup here will give it a more legitimate feel, and getting that out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, I think will do something similar. So yeah, just thank you guys again and have a good one.